What is going on, Savages? I am a couple of fire teas in, so I'm feeling okay. I don't really have a lot planned as far as like what we can talk about, but I figure we would just wing it a little bit and see what we can come up with. So let's get after it. What is going on, everybody? Let me see if anybody showed up in here. Sci Freaks, what's up? How's it going? Thanks for tuning in. I've got a couple of little articles or stories to talk about here. What the first one is, I don't know if anybody's been following this whole Peter Schiff debacle with his with his Bitcoin wallet on his phone. I guess that Eric Voorhees, which he's from Shapeshift, you know, longtime Bitcoin supporter and all that. I guess that they set up a or they were at dinner or whatever, and Eric Voorhees set up a wallet on Peter Schiff, which, if you don't know who Peter Schiff is, he is like a gold, they call him a gold bug. He has definitely done some pretty amazing predictions, like he predicted the 2008 crash and all that stuff, the real estate crash and all of that. But he is like a big supporter of gold, right? So like that's his thing, is gold. And he's always kind of bashing crypto, Bitcoin specifically, quite a bit. You know, he's got a lot of Twitter followers. I think he's got like 150,000 or something like that. So he's got some reach, you know. And he does do a little bit of bashing of Bitcoin and going back and forth. And there's some speculation or rumors that maybe he's like an investor, and then because of how his personality is, a Bitcoin investor, because of how his personality is, it actually works to his advantage to actually bash Bitcoin because it makes the price go up, right? Or the value go up. So it's kind of funny to think about it like that, because of how the majority of people think about him. But anyway, so he and Eric Voorhees were at dinner. He set up a wallet. Eric Voorhees set up a wallet on supposedly Peter Schiff's phone. And then recently, I think it was recently, that Peter Schiff tried to get into his wallet, and he tweeted about it, about forgetting his password, or he was saying some really silly stuff like the wallet forgot his password, and there was all this whole crazy stuff going on with it. But it's really funny if you read the whole. It's on Twitter. If you read the whole, feed on it, it is pretty comical. But there's some things to be learned from it, right? I mean, there are some things to be learned from it. So the scenario is Eric Voorhees set up his wallet. I guess he sent him like $50 or something like that worth of Bitcoin. And then time passes, and I guess that the app, I think it was I forget the app, blockchain. No, I forget which wallet app he was using, but it doesn't even matter. They had done some updates, and and he had updated his phone, and then that had caused, I guess, the password to need to be re-entered. He knew the PIN apparently, but he was using the PIN as the password or something. It was just clearly a misunderstanding of how things work. But I would like to point out that it does highlight a few different things. One, and if you read all the comments on Twitter, you can kind of gather this information up. One is, does crypto need to be a little bit easier? The answer to that is probably yes, right? Because I've talked about this a bunch of times, where if you were to that initial entry into crypto, if you were trying to onboard somebody, right, or to get them interested in crypto, and you showed them their public address, right there, it's an instant, overwhelming thing that happens, right? So like they look at this address and they're like, now they would do the same thing with a bank account number, but they are comfortable with that. because they know that they have a place that they can go to get their account number or figure stuff out, you know, show ID and actually authenticate themselves to the bank teller and figure that stuff out, right? With crypto, there's none of that, right? So, you know, you show them their public address and you say, hey, this is where you have people send crypto to you at. It's a little bit overwhelming and it's like a shock, right? So does it need to be easier? Probably. There are plenty of projects that are working on making it easier for adoption. You know, there's a few of them that I'm interested in. But more importantly, see, Peter Schiff has been bashing Bitcoin and crypto for many years, right? Ever since, I want to say that his first comments were, yeah, I don't know the exact number, but I know that Bitcoin was, I think it was less than 1,000 whenever he first started really being public about being anti-Bitcoin or anti-crypto. And so this whole debacle with his wallet and not understanding how things work really highlights the fact that he has no business trying to educate anybody, especially like the general public, on Bitcoin or crypto in general, right? Because if you don't even understand the basics of it, the real basics of crypto, then how are you going to educate the public on it, or prevent the public from being involved in it, or try to prevent the public from being involved in it? It's really a crazy thing. One of the other things that he was saying in this whole tweet thread here is that, you know, people were coming back at him and saying, well, you probably just forgot your password. And he was saying, no, I didn't forget my password, because it was the same password that I use on multiple other systems, right? Other wallets or other websites or whatever. So another thing that this whole debacle highlights is the fact that Peter Schiff has really horrible OPSEC, okay? Terrible OPSEC. And then that is the person that is trying to educate people on crypto and to stay away from crypto. And he has the worst OPSEC ever, the operational security, ever. If you're using the same password on all these different systems, which in his case, pretty sure he's a billionaire. I'm not sure of his net worth or anything, but you know, he's way up there, right? Multi-millionaire, definitely. I would imagine he's a billionaire. I don't know for sure, but doesn't matter. Point is that he probably has access to quite a bit of money, right? So if he's using the same passwords on all these different devices, that's not the person you want to listen to whenever you're talking about crypto, right? It was, whenever I'm reading some of the stuff, I'm like, it's like, wow, dude, really? So kind of funny if you think about it. You know, yeah, and it seemed like with every tweet, as I was reading it, with every tweet, it seemed like he was just digging a bigger hole. It was hilarious. Like, man, this is crazy. And it was so comical that it almost didn't seem real. Like, this person is bashing crypto and they don't even understand the very basic principles behind it, right? But it was funny to read. So yeah, I think it you know, obviously it's on Twitter. You can look up Peter Schiff on Twitter and follow the whole debacle. It was pretty funny. Let me see if I can bring some of it up here. Let's see here. Now, some of the stuff he tweets is actually really good. I mean, not necessarily about crypto, but some of the other stuff is okay. He's like a libertarian, so you know, he's got that going for him. Yeah, it says right here, a lot of people making fun of me for confusing my PIN with my password. I made a mistake and it cost me my Bitcoin. But confusing Bitcoin for money is a much larger mistake. Oh, good grief. Yeah, like right here, my Bitcoin mystery is solved. I mistook my PIN for my password. When blockchain updated, oh, it was blockchain wallet, updated their app, I got logged out. I tried logging back in using my PIN, which was the only password I had ever known or used. I also never had a copy of my seed phrase. Honest but costly mistake. Now, you know, Eric Voorhees and him, I guess they were drinking or whatever, but I can guarantee you that if Eric Voorhees is trying to onboard somebody, the last thing he's going to do is not give that person or not emphasize the importance of the seed words and password. Although in his response, I think Eric was saying that he told him, like, look, here it is. Here's your wallet. I'm going to send you $50 and again, or $50 in Bitcoin. You know, if you ever get a substantial amount, you really need to make sure that you know the security aspects of it, you know, the seed phrase and all that stuff. So I don't know if I would have done it just like that. And that was from Eric Voorhees. I would have really stressed the whole security behind it, because that's actually one of the selling points of crypto, in my opinion, is having that security, right? Yes, it is a barrier because it is a little bit more complicated than it needs to be. There are projects that are working on it that are doing a great job at making it a little bit easier. But with a decentralized system, you're going to have that problem, because if it's decentralized, then there's not going to be someone that's storing your password. There's not going to be someone to call if you forget your password, or if you don't know your seed phrase, or if your house burns down and you lose your seed phrase. There's no one to call, right? But you can't have anything other than that in a decentralized system. It has to be that way. So you have to understand that and take the necessary precautions in order to protect your crypto in those cases. But long story short, this guy has no business educating anybody on crypto, because if he doesn't understand that basic part of it, then you shouldn't be listening to him on anything to do with crypto. And then the funny part of this is that what if, right? So what if Eric Voorhees did this on purpose, right? So like Eric Voorhees sets up this wallet. He knows the seed phrase. He knows the private key, probably the password and all that stuff too, to the wallet. And then he convinces Peter Schiff to have Peter Schiff's 150,000 followers on Twitter send him Bitcoin, right, to prove how it works, and then blow this wallet up, right? And then Eric Voorhees just takes the crypto, right? Because that's the way it would basically work. I'm not saying he did. I'm sure he didn't. He doesn't need it. But it would be funny if that was the situation, right? To show the whole security aspect of it. Yeah. So yeah, it was kind of funny. He might have like 180,000 followers. I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, 182,000. That's quite a bit. So, you know, Eric Voorhees was able to steal the BTC out of the wallet while making Peter Schiff look kind of silly, right? And the whole overall scheme of things here. So let me check the chat, see who all is in here. Oh my gosh, what are y'all doing? Quite a few people in here. What's up, Red Panda? What's up, YouTube watcher? What's up, Billy B? Dan the Dane, haven't seen you in a while. What's up, man? Yeah, hit the sucker. So what do y'all think about this whole Peter Schiff thing? I think it's hilarious, but that's just me. Funny story, funny story. Let's see, what else do I have on the... Yeah, I missed you too, Dan. Red Panda's in the kitchen, cooking up some meals. What's up, Michael Johns? Man, Michael Johns, I haven't seen you in like a really long time. What is up? I'm not even doing Aeon content. Why are you here? No, it's cool, man. Yeah, I don't think he's getting people to FOMO out of Bitcoin. I think it's more of in. Yeah, it's hilarious. Like I said, there's some theories that he's actually, he's actually a holder, and he realizes that the way that things work, it's better for him to be negative on it than positive. It actually works better the opposite, right? To bash it instead of talk good about it. So it's funny. Best card for Aeon, I would say, well, efficiency-wise, is probably a 1660 Ti. Maybe a 1660 Super, somewhere around in that range. And that has to do with the price of the card and the return, right? The hash rate it gets, the efficiency, and all that stuff. Really good. Yeah, I often think of that, YouTube watcher. Like if clearly I'm not one of the people that got in early. I think about one thing I think about a lot. I don't know. Let me get y'all's take on this. So, there are folks that got in early. They were mining or whatever, mining Bitcoin, CPU and GPU. And let's just say that they accumulated, let's say a conservative amount. Let's say something like 500, right? So they have 500 BTC, which is probably a little low for someone really early, but let's say that they sold some of it. They ended up with 500, and then they watched that 500 go to 20K and then back to 3 and all that stuff. The thing is that if I were one of those people, I wouldn't want to sell it, right? If I only had 500, which sounds silly to say, but if I only had 500, if I sold one, if I wasn't like an active trader, if I wasn't doing this like all day long, which maybe I would be if I had that many BTC, but if I wasn't actively trading, then if I sold a BTC, like let's say you have 500, you quit your job, whatever, and you want to live off that 500. You have to be really careful because the price fluctuates so much, and then once you sell it, let's say you sold one BTC, now you have 499, right? And you sold it for 8,000 or whatever. Okay, so you got 8,000 USD, but you also have less BTC. So in order to have the BTC back to 500, you got to buy it again, right? You see what I'm getting at here? Like you can't, unless you have a whole lot, then like 10,000 or more, I would say, then it's not going to be something that is super comfortable, right? Even if you had, like, let's take a different example. Let's just say you had 20. Could you imagine selling, like having 20? Okay, so if you have 20, that's 160,000 right now, right? Somewhere around there. Imagine selling one of them for money to live off of. Now you have 19. Right, and I know you don't have to sell the whole thing, but just for simplicity of the thought process here. So now you have 19. Well, okay. So what do you see what I'm saying? Like it's tough because it really proves that it is, in my mind anyway, the way that I comprehend it, it is literally a store of value. It's the same thing as gold. If you were to sell gold, then you don't have it anymore. So you can't benefit from it anymore, right? And I think that this is going to be kind of the case until things get to a point to where you would actually earn BTC, right, in your job. I mean, some people do, but I'm just saying, in general, like I don't earn BTC. If I did, then maybe I would be okay with letting one of my 20 go, because I know that I would be able to buy it back or earn it back in the future, but I think about that a lot. Like, what would I do if I had 100 BTC, or 500 or whatever? There's no way I would sell it. So are you really wealthy because you have it? I don't know. It's one of those things. Like, especially if you mined it early on and you really didn't use a lot of effort, yeah, you have a lot of BTC, but a part of the, like, in my opinion, it's not liquid, right? You're not going to, unless you're trading it, you're not going to give it up. If I had 20 BTC, there's no way I would sell even one or even a part of any of it. So it goes back to that whole thing where, is it really worth anything if you can't sell it, right? It goes back to that value proposition. So I think I tweeted about this like a really long time ago about how things have value, right? Whether or not something has value. I said, I think in the tweet I was saying something along the lines of, if a Lamborghini, for example, to someone that doesn't want a Lamborghini or need a Lamborghini, not need, but if you don't want a Lamborghini, then the value of the car is zero. If I don't want to buy it, then to me, the value is zero. And some people were arguing with me about that thought process, and I don't know why. I mean, why? If I don't need it, then the value is zero. You're not going to trade it to me for something if I don't need it, right? Or if I don't have anything that you want. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm going kind of off on a weird tangent here, but let me see what y'all are saying about this. Yeah, exactly, YouTube watcher. How in the world can you talk about anything or inform or educate? The whole thing about this guy, Peter Schiff, is he's trying to prevent people from getting into crypto, and he doesn't even know how it works. I was trying to think of an analogy, and I didn't put a whole lot of brain power into it to try to figure out a good analogy of that, but I'm sure that there are plenty. It's just like, yeah, I can't think of one off the top of my head, but yeah, it's silly. It's really silly. It's like someone that doesn't know anything about something, and they're trying to prevent you from getting into that, whatever that thing is. It's like listening to anybody about anything that you're interested in. Like, the general public knows more about crypto than him, but he's trying to prevent the general public from getting into crypto. I don't know. Weird. Yeah, right on, Billy B. That one was... Let me show it. Yeah, and YouTube watcher. Okay, so it depends on how rich you want to be. You could sell 400 after your taxes. You would have 3 million to invest. You could live off the... Yeah, exactly. But you wouldn't have that BTC, right? You wouldn't have the Bitcoin. That's my whole point. Is like, with US dollar, and it works the same with US dollars. It really does. I mean, but it goes back to the earning part of it, right? So like, if you are earning US dollars, now obviously, I mean, I get it. You can just, buy Bitcoin with the US dollars that you earn. I get all that. I'm just saying that it really proves that it is a store of value and not a digital cash system like it was originally intended for, or to be. It has really turned into something else, and I don't think that I'm the only one that thinks that. If I had, the Bitcoin that I have, I'm not selling it. So, it's like, it's literally a store of value. That's just the way I look at it. I don't know. Could be wrong, but that's just the way I look at it. Yeah, everyone has things they desire. We all think differently, for sure. Right. So, yeah, and along those lines, I mean, that's what I was talking about with the value thing, whether or not something has value. In the case of a dollar, right, US dollar or fiat, the only reason it has value is because you and I and the government agrees it does, right? That's the only reason that fiat has value. It's got nothing behind it. So if you really get down to it and really think about that, it's kind of crazy that it is like that. Yeah, crazy stuff. And then with crypto, there's no intermediary, there's nobody in between, there's no validation as far as a third party. So it's truly revolutionary when it comes to transactions, for sure. I think I've got green lights in the background here. I think that right before the stream it actually turned green, and it did. Just a little bit, not a lot. As far as BTC goes, it's kind of a mix. Obviously a mixed market. Not everything is up today. I'm still looking for a time where the dominance goes down. Because remember, just like a year and a half ago, it was teetering around 50%. And I think it got down to, if I remember right, it was down to 48%, 47%, and alts were all doing pretty well during that time. I know that there's some controversy, not controversy, but there's some disagreements on how dominance plays into the overall market. I think it's pretty important. Not everybody does. If I was to see dominance like creeping back down to 50% or 60% or whatever, just in a downward trend, then I would say that what you will see is altcoins rising during that time. Whether or not that's going to be true or not, don't know, but 66 is still pretty high. Now what would be cool is if it stays 66 but keeps going up, because then it'll pull everything up with it and still be dominant. So I mean, I'm okay with that too. But yeah, Billy B, exactly. It's like I've never sold it. Like any BTC that I acquire, I have not sold it. And some people would, scoff at that, but I don't know. I think it's just worth too much, so I just hold it. Yeah, I mean, there's like if it went to 15,000, there's no way I would sell it. No way at all. It's not gonna happen. Yeah, exactly, Dan the Dane. That's insane to think about. What an absolute perfect aspect of Bitcoin that Satoshi programmed in there was the 21 million limit. That's a low amount if you think about it, because a lot of the altcoins that fork, they all go, uh-oh, it went red. They all go way more than 21 million, right? And yeah, that's a really low number. There's some other interesting facts. I think I'm trying to remember the number. I can't remember how many. There's a certain number of millionaires on the planet, right? I want to say it's 17 million millionaires, something like that. So there's not even enough Bitcoin for one per millionaire, right? So that's something else to kind of think about. That's another interesting stat there. Yeah, Red Panda, you're in a little bit of a different boat. I mean, if you got to pay yourself back for electric, because you have a lot more rigs than a lot of people do. 15,000 Bitcoin, selling a little bit of it, but you're also mining, so you're going to earn some back, right? I mean, I know you're not really mining Bitcoin, but you could mine enough Ethereum or whatever, to buy back the Bitcoin, that you sold. Yeah, I could see that. If I had a bigger operation, I could see me selling some of it. I think if you did things, if you really bulk it down, you wouldn't have to sell any of it. All right, I don't know what else to talk about. What is it, 10 o'clock? Let's see, is anybody else streaming or anything? Let's do a refresh here. Seth Estrada is doing some stuff, it looks like. I thought that DCA would be... Are they not on tonight? I thought they would be on by now. Yeah, Billy B, exactly. That's a good point. I mean, most of us that are watching this at least have more than that. Bitcoin, I would imagine. Yeah, I mean, I don't know the... Oh, they are on. Okay. And you're doing a giveaway? Good grief, man. I wouldn't give away any BTC. What is that all about? All right, so let me click on this here. Whoa. Let me actually let me do this. Oh shoot. Hang on a second. Let me grab that link. Yeah, I was gonna actually talk about some concealed stuff. I had some other stuff I was gonna talk about, but I guess you guys want to get out of here. So,
talk to him.
Yeah, so head over to DCA Adventure. Let's do a Savage Raid over there. Go ahead and throw Savage Raid into their chat and let them know you came from here. You're probably already, y'all are all probably already in there too, but yeah, let them know. All right, guys, I will see you next time. I don't know, probably won't be live this weekend it'll probably be Monday more than likely. So I'll see y'all over in DCA. Is it DCA Adventure? Yeah, DCA Adventure live stream. Stay savage, everybody.